Happy New Year's, Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss fans. Today we got an amazing update, first on the Hazbin Hotel Instagram, and then later Hazbin Hotel Twitter accounts, where a picture of two angelic exorcists was posted. The caption that came with it explained that this big angel appears to be Adam, and that the Extermination Day is upon us, indicating that New Year's Eve in Hell is the actual night that the extermination takes place. My name is Deepcut. Hit that subscribe button because this opens up so many theories and lore videos that you're not going to want to miss. Now, of course, each month we've been getting a redesign for a different Hazbin Hotel character or group. After last month's Lucifer, many of us were expecting Lilith, especially when VivziePop indicated on Twitter that the next character is going to be one of her favorites. But instead, today we got our first really good look at angels other than the cherubs from Helluva Boss. With this being Adam in the front and there being a female lady exterminator in the back, and while my first instinct was that this could be Eve, she doesn't really seem old enough to be her. Like Adam, we may later find Eve with her own character redesign, or even just through her introduction in the show, and she may have a more elaborate design like Adam does. However, we know that a lot of the story of Hazbin Hotel makes use of the lore surrounding Lilith, Charlie's mother, who is currently the Queen of Hell. In Jewish legend, she is said to be the first wife of Adam, created from the same dust as him, and because of that, refused to be subservient. She was rejected from the Garden of Eden because of this, and is said to have married different fallen angels in different legends, and instead of becoming the mother of all humans, she becomes the mother of all demons through him. Adam would then get his wife Eve made from Adam's rib, and through this act be created as someone more subservient to Adam. As such, I would not be surprised if Eve is expected to look more or less like any other angel, particularly in Exorcist, though there's a lot of different directions Eve's character could go. We've been told that the exterminators wear LED masks, and this angel in the background appears to be wearing one, but Adam seems to have a more normal looking face. This could be an LED mask too, just one with more natural looking features, but this may also be what the exorcists look like underneath their mask. What's really interesting is that Adam is playing guitar in this scene, which may seem random, but can actually tell us a lot about what's going on here. Lucifer, as most of you know, is a fallen angel, not just in the show, but in the real-life lore that inspired him. In some stories, he was considered God's favorite angel, his second in command early on, and one who played the most beautiful music. Lucifer is often associated with pride, even outside of the 7 deadly sins, and in this particular legend, he is believed to have prided himself as being better than God because he believed he made better music than God. Lucifer thus rebelled against God, taking many angels with him. Adam is not known to be particularly musical in any of the extra-biblical materials that I have read, but in other legends about Lucifer, he is said to have rebelled because God prided the humans as being above the angels, including Lucifer, and Lucifer refused to bow down to the humans in any context. With that in mind, I theorize that Adam replaced Lucifer as God's right-hand man, and even took it upon himself to be the one playing music that God enjoys. In early live streams for Hazbin Hotel, VivziePop indicated we may go see Heaven as early as episode 2 in the show, and with her bringing Adam to us as a fully fledged character as part of these redesigns and character art promos, I think Heaven is going to be a lot less mysterious than a lot of us believe from the pilot. It's going to be a place with a lot to explore. What is really scary about this is not just that Adam appears to be an exterminator, but is something of a leader to them. The annual exterminations are not to kill the actual native-born demons of hell, but the overpopulation of human sinners, who would all be the descendants of Adam and Eve. Adam would thus not just be exterminating his many descendants, but doing so with glee if this promo art is any indication. This is a pretty sick plan all in all, especially when you consider how these sinners got there in the first place. Adam and Eve is of course the story of the first humans and their fall into sin after eating the forbidden fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. Sinners going to hell is something that in many schools of thought is only happening because of that first sin with the forbidden fruit. And in many of the schools of thought surrounding the story, Eve is seen as the ultimate problem here because it is her who is mostly talked to by the snake that convinces them to eat the fruit, with Adam being almost an afterthought in their interaction as it's presented in the text. This has often been used as a reason to oppress women, to attribute the darkness in the world to them because they are women like Eve. Though it should be noted that there are a lot of other schools of thought, many you might consider more accurate to the story's origins, where Eve is not some sort of villain who took Adam down with her, but rather that this fall is both of theirs. That being said, I imagine it is the idea that Eve is responsible that inspires the characters in the show, with Adam being the head angel leading the charge against the sinners of Earth, vilifying them as monsters created by Eve and her folly, and deserving not just hell, but the eventual death at his hands or one of the other exorcists. Lucifer is largely regarded as the snake from the Garden of Eden in modern Christian ideology, and in the show is seen as having the apple and snake imagery in his design, indicating that he is behind the snake, tricking Adam and Eve in the show as well. Quite likely, this was done with the help and planning of Lilith, who would help Lucifer get a snake into the garden and would know what to do to get Adam and Eve in trouble. Lilith was promised to be the mother of all humans, and that had been taken away from her because she would not bow down to the man who was made from the same dust as her. Her revenge would not just be getting Adam and Eve out of the garden, but getting to take all of the souls of their children and turning them into horrible monsters while ruling over them alongside her husband Lucifer, who we know from live streams to really share his throne with Lilith even if he technically outranks her in power. It's quite possible that Lilith is largely responsible for the sinners, while Lucifer focuses more so on his personal projects like Lulu World, or whatever this pile of ducks is supposed to be. These are just theories, however, and with how twisted the implications of this all are, I imagine the real show will be even more wild in that regard. With that in mind, I know some fans who are a bit on the religious side who are worried about the characters like Adam and Eve, or even God, being portrayed in a negative way. Something to keep in mind is that the show takes some inspiration from Milton's Paradise Lost, which really popularized the pattern of using these bigger religious and mythological entities to tell stories about human life in the present. It's very easy for big powers to prop themselves up as moral, such as kingdoms or churches, and then anyone who disagrees with them is labeled as some rebellious demon or agent of Satan, no matter how noble and good their actions may actually be. Religion itself has been used to oppress a lot of people, unfortunately, and I think this is a valid way to criticize them and talk about those issues. As at the end of the day, it's not meant to insult anyone of any religious faith, but instead just to show how people parading as good and moral can be some of the most corrupt in the world. Regardless of her own faith or investment in these particular stories, and regardless even of whether or not any of us agree with her actual point, Vizzypop has proven herself to be an amazing and thought-provoking writer, and it's okay to even explore writings that you might disagree with and still very much enjoy. I think we've reached a point in consumer capitalist culture where people believe that the goal of watching TV or movies or reading books is just to find the perfect show that matches your belief system 100%, and to outright attack or deconstruct something when it doesn't meet that expectation. But regardless of if you're a hardcore Christian or a wannabe Satanist, it's not just good entertainment, but really thought-provoking stuff. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts on this new Adam reveal in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.